We're doing it.
We're all, man, is there ever a time we're not doing it? We're doing it for the 40th time. This is episode 40. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's no fucking joke. Every time I'm surprised, but that's like 40 times I've been surprised. 41, if we make it to 41, it's going to be a shocker.
Don't
I got to say what Dom Cooper would say, and if you're not on the LinkedIn, you should be. I'm going to read. This is not giving anybody any shit. This is a real quote. But I would say, and this is not about the podcast, but I think it applies, right? I want to read it word for word. Dr. Dom Cooper. Controversy sells. Never mind the quality. Check. Feel the width.
I will never not laugh at that.
I don't know. Like,
look out,
I don't know.
Look out for the coffee cup in the merch store.
I know. There will be a coffee mug. And I don't know, like, is that second draft and it was like feel the depth first or feel the thickness? And he's like, you know what? No, width is better. And it just isn't.
You really workshopped that. It's not about quality, it's about width. That's
width.
That's good advice.
That's some solid.
I don't know that.
Right there.
I don't know that solves a lot of problems for this podcast, but it gives us a chance.
Yeah, don't go on. You've been drinking. Don't go on LinkedIn. Don't text ex-girlfriends. Just put the devices away.
The LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn
really is something. I've successfully stayed off of it for a little while until I accidentally saw the. Well, I couldn't help but feel the width on this one, and you get into the comments. That's
perfect.
Yeah, it's a fun place. Boys, what you doing? Ron doesn't have a VHS screenshot of himself.
No, not today. No, this is just the Super Suckers, kind of a trash punk rock band from the Midwest.
Sure. I can feel the width from here.
Feeling the width.
Yeah. Yeah.
That drummer looks fucking gnarly. Look at that guy.
Yeah. It's a classic record, Sacrilegious Sounds of the Super Suckers. Give it a listen. Born with a Tail. It's kind of like an anthem these days.
Born with a Tail, I think you've brought up before.
I might have. Yeah, I think this is not the first time I've mentioned the Super Suckers. I think it's the first time I had a picture of them. That's how long this was.
That could be. We'll allow it.
I appreciate your allowances.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have a sort of a width allowance here. I'm just looking at it. Just the screenshot, and I can't.
Wait, what are you looking at?
The screenshot from the LinkedIn post. Everything about it is amazing. I'm debating on when we do the coffee mug, is it just the quote or is it the actual
like the actual screenshot?
Oh, you have to clip it.
Yeah. I mean, the picture looks great. I don't know, that it is a bit of a toss up for me though.
It is. I feel like you could just cut out and just stick with never mind the quality, feel the width. It's just fun to say everything.
Yeah.
Just when I thought LinkedIn was useless.
Yeah.
It's gems like that.
You work that into conversations many times a day.
Well, I'm trying not to be fucking lazy with it. You know, just want to.
That's it.
What's going on, Ben?
Opportunity.
Ben, what are you fucking with these days?
Well, I'm back home. That's cool. But I was on a trip and I was actually, you guys know James Newman, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Newman.
Anyway, James and I were talking about Fugazi, and he's been listening to a little bit of Fugazi, and I thought, you know what? Nice. I should just dust off some Fugazi as well. Ian MacKaye, man. Fucking rad. So yeah, man, the whole flight home from that trip was powered by Fugazi and a bunch of drunk Midwesterners, which was kind of cool. Like 9 a.m. I don't know what was it probably added a Stinkalicious or whatever. What's it called? What's your band?
Suckalicious?
Oh, Super Suckers.
Super Sucker Midwest. They were probably at a Super Sucker show
Yeah, probably night before.
the night before. I don't know.
That would
Anyway,
be,
Fugazi,
yeah,
run of the mill stuff, man. But I like it.
classic.
They should get back together.
Yeah.
Come play at Punk. By the way, Punk in the Park, Ron and I are going to. It's fun without Dave.
Yep.
I don't think we've made a big enough stink about it on the socials, and that
Early
might.
October,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
about a
because
month
we're
from
not.
now. San
Yeah,
Pedro, California, at the pier. Bad
Pure
Religion, Descendants,
birth 46. I don't know. Look it up. Punk in the Park.
Birth Your
It's the one
Mom.
in LA or San Pedro. It's 2 days. You
My
can hang
advice
out
is
with me and
don't wait
Ron.
in line.
Don't wait in line. We're doing.
Go up to the front of the fucking line,
We got air
like you
conditioned
own the
toilet
place. Tell
tickets.
them about
Amazing.
fucking Dr. David Proven,
Yeah.
and they just let you right in.
Yeah. Are you with the band? Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which one?
That one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bad cop, bad cop.
The Width. That'd be a good band name too.
The width.
Just The Width. I'm gonna get a lot of miles out of this thing, boys, just so you know.
Oh God.
Okay.
What you got going on there, Dave?
Back home as well. I think when this comes out, I'll be in Houston though. A couple of weeks
Oh,
time. Via the UK. And then yeah, just gone with no use for a name. What
yes.
good band. Oh,
That's
just a
a
good
solid
solid
choice.
band name, right? Just
Yeah.
solid band name. Just fuck this. We're too lazy to even name our fucking band.
Yeah.
It's gonna cause problems, just it's about the music, not the fucking name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good band though, too.
Yeah.
You
So
could put those guys on repeat for a while. It's not gonna be a bad time.
yeah.
Cool.
Very nice. What's on tap for today, bitches?
We got a listener question. Party people.
Which one of
What,
was it?
what,
Which one of our moms was it?
Jesus. Well, it's not
okay,
your
you
mom,
ready?
she's busy.
Yeah.
Are you guys done fucking around? You ready? You ready for it? Here it is. I am still learning how to apply HOP principles. Can you talk about how they can be used to help us see and respond to risks that never show up in incident data? A lot more words than we're used to in a question, but I feel
So
like
what
the three
what
of
do
us, we
we
got this.
to answer this question, like are we going with the traditional 5 hop principles? Is that what we're talking about, or are we talking about something else?
Doesn't say, but I'm going to make that leap. I think it's the traditional 5. If you want to add one, you can add. I think there's 6
Well,
potentially.
so I will say that
Yeah. Oh boy.
Here we go.
there's a couple things here,
Here we
right?
go.
No, there's a couple things here. So number one, right, like
Part one of my response.
Oh my
there's the
dear.
5 hop principles that Todd
Yeah.
created, which are great. They
Sure.
they have their place, they have their value. But I mean, you can also like, okay, what it the question itself about learning from risks that don't show up in incidents, I think is doesn't it's not like about all 5 principles. It's about kind of the general idea, and not to kind of spoil our discussion, but a general
No,
idea
it's
about
too late.
weak signals, learning from work, that kind of stuff. I will say as well, though, there's also those ICAO 5 human performance principles.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar
You
with those,
you gonna dip into Steve's work here?
well, I think those are great. I've known
And
about those
Eric,
for a
right?
long
Eric
time.
did some stuff with
Yeah.
Yeah,
Euro control and
yeah.
ICAO.
Which
Aviation for the win. The one fucking time I'm gonna.
I think though those actually if you're trying to understand human performance, those are more useful for that purpose, right?
I don't think that's the question.
No, I don't think
You're
it is
just
so
making,
either.
you're like a politician. You're just making shit up. You're like, I'm gonna answer the question I wish I was asked.
Well, that also is true.
So I think
All right, so
we can also work backwards. So I think the second part of that question is about um, how do we understand what incidents we might have before we have the incident, right? So it's like, stuff that. So I guess the first question is kind of like, if a company's looking at its incident data alone, how much of a picture does that provide about, what could go wrong in the organization? I think that's the first gap, because I think that this question is sort of like about, I've had these 10 incidents, and then I keep getting surprised by all this other stuff that haven't been in my incident data or my near miss data before. And how can I maybe think about using POP to find that stuff before it becomes an incident, right? Which is like you said, Ron, learning from normal work, weak signals type of.
Didn't we describe the sort of limitation of looking at incident data as only looking through the glory hole? You're not seeing the hole.
Ooh.
Didn't we say that in a previous?
no, but that's
No, we did. Glory hole
we did.
it did come up
Right
somewhere
before
around
I don't remember that at all.
near the circle jerk focus that we had there for a while
All right.
as well. And I think it was some sort of description of, you're narrowing the scope of what you can see.
So we've got Eric Holnagel's nice slide with the pie chart with the green, huge sector about, stuff that goes well, and this little thin red wedge of the stuff that goes wrong as a narrow lens. And Ben puts up his slide, which is just a
big old,
in the Midwest
big old glory hole. Don't focus only on the glory hole. Take in the whole thing.
You're gonna want to check out everything.
It's not just the hole; it's the width.
You're gonna want to feel the width, the entire width of operations. You're gonna want to feel it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But and I don't remember what we talked about then. That was I don't know.
It was a long time ago. I just wanted to bring it up because
that might have been the single digits in our episodes.
Oh, 100% single digit listeners.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still the case. But to me, yes. And I think most approaches to incident investigation that absolutely applies. I do think that there's some value in looking at investigations in a different way, in which case you could, if you see an investigation as just an instance of how your work happens, it's just one set of outcomes, but it's an example of everyday work, and you investigate it in that way and use it as an opportunity to learn about normal work, not to learn about what happened in that incident. I think there is actually opportunity to, if think of it this way, okay, the investigation should find what surprised you, right? There was some element of surprise. We didn't expect this to happen in this way. I mean, you might be able to learn about what sorts of things surprise your processes, right? You can start to extrapolate patterns and how your system works that can actually uncover some of these risks. I don't know but that probably is a whole different discussion than where this conversation needs to go. But I do think that there's an opportunity there, at least.
Bit of threat and error identification, hey?
Holy crapper.
Sort of another common aviation thing, right? Threat and error management.
Yeah, so I think you can do a lot more. Organizations can do a lot more with their incident investigations to get both the systems issues, performance shaping factors, but also, like you said, extrapolating things out, which is beyond the individual sequence of events. But I still think there's when we think about major disasters, when I thought about this, I thought about major disasters, which is oh, well, we've never really had a, whatever facility blow up like that before. So when you look at all these major disasters that I guess, or Challenger, we've never had one of those O-rings fail before or something like that. So I think part of this question is also proactive safety. How do you get at those potential issues in your business before that disaster occurs? And can the HOP principles help with a process to do that?
Yes, but I I think this goes back to Ron's point about the principles being good but not being sufficient, right? And it's not an instruction manual. It's sort of this underlying thing. I I think of it. What's the thing in medicine? Hippocratic Oath. Is that right? First, do no harm.
First, do no harm.
First, do no harm does not help you complete a medical procedure, but it does underpin kind of the approach to medicine. And I think the principles of HOP underpin the approach to how you think about these things, but they don't solve the actual
That might be
problem.
giving him a little bit too much credit.
Well, first, do no harm is sort of self-evident, though. I think, I mean, there's more to it than that, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, look, blame doesn't fix things. Well, it does fix some things we've talked about before. Fixes my need to feel like I've punished somebody, which is a societal need, right? Um, but it doesn't help us learn as an organization. Okay, cool. That's foundational. Now what?
Mm.
And I think that's what the question is getting to is like, okay, if I don't want to just go blame people and call it job done, what should I go do? And I think we've talked about a lot of this. You know, if you want weak signals, you have to go look for you have to go look for weak signals. You have to go ask questions and turn things over and poke and prod around in this. You got to feel the width uh,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
of the system. And that's going out and doing the hard yards of asking those questions and looking around and paying attention to shit you don't understand and trying to understand it. But I don't know. I'm fairly certain that the person who asked this question knows that too, right? So I'm trying to kind of infer what the question underneath this this question is, right?
Well, so I guess, to the point, like what questions do you ask and what do you do with that information once you get the answers, right?
Yeah.
Like that, because I think all three of us actually have a really good idea of what we mean when we say get out there, go ask questions, and that will help you uncover weak signals. But like, I mean, I think all three of us as well have gone out and talked to workers, asked questions, and we get a whole
She just
slew
said,
of
shut up and give me
information.
shut up and give me 100.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying to learn about your work.
Yeah, stop talking. Uh, jeez. Like, but for real though, there are there's some nuances in terms of determining, okay, going from that specific instance or whatever the worker is telling you, and then extrapolating that up to a system level to help you understand, okay, that leads to this risk. Because the challenge we have is that we're not looking necessarily for, yet sometimes you're going to uncover broken shit. Like, hey, this process that we thought was working is not working. That may be something, and that's great when you find that. But I find like a lot of times when I used to do a lot of coaching in this, people would walk away from these conversations initially actually kind of bummed at first because we didn't find the broken thing, and I had to and say then no, like let's take what they told us and then extrapolate it out into in the context of trade-offs and looking at, okay, when different things can change, how is that going to create new risk? So you take like, here's how we're doing that task, and introduce variability. How does that create risk? So that to me there's some mental work that sometimes we do maybe without thinking, and maybe that's one of the things that underlies this question.
And, and I think, I think you're right. So, how do we get at those weak signals? You mentioned questions there, right? It's just what do we see and hear across our organization? And so I think if we think about those principles, just to maybe answer the question after 25 minutes of fucking around, we like, you go, learning is vital, doesn't fucking help at all, right? But okay, people make mistakes, or human performance is variable. Okay, great. So where in my organization, if someone made a mistake, would it be a really bad day, right? Okay, so that could help frame a question. Management response matters. Okay, that might be about communication and psychological safety and trust. Okay, so where in my business do I have managers that aren't sort of responding well to information from their people? Systems drive behavior, like what's going on in our organization, in terms of what are the core processes and what are the implications for safety. But I still think it misses, those five principles miss so many conversations about constraint and trade-off and joint activity and a whole bunch of stuff, which I think is far more useful and valuable for shaping questions that you might want to ask people in your business. And that's what I said.
Yeah, but having 47 principles is less convenient.
Yeah, but don't be lazy, man. It's just not, the five principles aren't wide enough. Like,
no,
it's not the quality of the principles, it's the width of
you need to
them.
line up 47 of these fuckers.
Don't worry about quality.
Yeah.
Focus on width.
I'm talking quality and quantity.
But I mean, I agree in principle. No pun intended there. I do think there's one thing that's like super easy, like gateway drug to get people to think about these conversations in the mistakes.
Ron was cooking meth in
You said
episode 39, by the way.
just so you know.
At an acid plant.
I have no idea what either of you said. That's
just agree.
Yeah, but no, it's a really good point. It, but no, so like if you start with mistakes are normal, then to your point, Dave, like ask the question, okay, where are we one bad day from killing someone? Like where are we relying on people to be perfect or else someone's going to die eventually? Like that's an easy place to start. And it goes back to something Todd says a lot is like you don't look for compliance, you look for control, like a lack of control in the system, like where we're just relying on people to be perfect and you don't have anything else beyond that. That's probably a good place to start the conversations. And to me, I've found that when you just people who are new to this kind of thinking, if you start there, it gives them real tangible, oh shit, like we have all these people using these ladders and like, man, they, we got nothing for them if they fall, or we got, they're doing this thing over here. And, if they don't follow the procedure, we blow up the whole fucking plant. That's probably not great.
And I think this is where like, there's so much in the literature, that I think helps more than
it's definitely a lot in the literature that Dave wrote.
Well, yeah, and didn't write about hop, so me. But I think there's, like local rationality, for example, as a principle, is like, where in my business do I feel like it might be rational for people to make a decision that trades off safety? Right? Okay, well, when we've got a shitty contract with no margin in it, and we're making a loss, okay, well, let's go and look at all of our current loss-making projects and businesses and ask them about how they're maintaining safety with those sorts of pressures and constraints, right? So I just think that the HOP principles aren't the best way to think about how I might move around my organization and find shit out. I mean,
definitely not the only way.
The HOP principles were originally proposed as a set of principles to guide incident investigation. Right. So when Sydney had written a field guide to understanding human error investigation, and Todd was advising at Los Alamos, and they were like, we need to change our approach to incident investigation. Let's use some principles to guide how we do this. So the genealogy of that 15, 16 years ago. So I still feel like they're useful in that context, but when we try to apply more width to them across like learning from normal work, I think we've got to expand widely the way we approach that stuff, right? So I'd almost be parking the 5 principles and going, okay, like you said, Ron, where are we one bad day away from a fatality? And yeah, use a little bit more of the peer review.
I mean, I still think that's though a yes and sort of thing, right? I would argue that like the usefulness of the 5 principles doesn't stop at just because the genealogy was, hey, we should think about this in the context of investigations. Well, yeah, but then also kind of socializing the idea that error is normal on an ordinary day is useful. But I mean, going back to that first part, right, of saying
And
these
also,
are they're
fucking
useful but not
value-laden statement.
sufficient.
It's a value-laden.
No,
Fucking
of
hate
course
that.
it is.
I hate that
Of
error is
course it is.
normal. I hate people make mistakes. Like, why don't you have a more
They
useful?
hate you.
Well, why don't you have a useful principle? It just says human performance is variable, right? For a whole range of reasons. Like, why do we have to use such
Yeah.
kind of like value? Like, because then you go, oh well, people are going to make mistakes, and let's. So so in the last couple of weeks, I've worked inside a few organizations who have heard enough about hop to be fucking dangerous, right? So they're able to use the hop. They're able to use
It's
the
a long list.
they're able to use the hop language to overlay it over their existing paradigm and worldview, and reinforce how they feel. So if we come out with a hop principle that says people make mistakes, it lets people. It doesn't change anyone's sort of like view or perspective.
Yeah.
Right?
No, 100%, dude. I did a talk, I did a talk about this. I didn't write a paper about it, but I did do a talk about
Have a
this.
slide with a glory hole on it.
Yep. It's the first slide winking at you.
I'm betting.
Oh, but I did bring that up, right? And actually probably the second slide of saying all of these things, like on the surface, they sound good. They're easy to agree with generally. And if you don't agree, you just sound like an asshole, right? You're like, no, I love blaming. If you're in a room with other humans, you do sound like an asshole. But the other part of that, Dave, and I think lockstep with what you're saying that we talked about in that session was they're almost so good and so simple that it's easy to just agree and congratulate ourselves on already doing it. So I'm with you there, right? Our response matters. There's nobody in any leadership role that doesn't believe what they do is impactful. Of course, their fucking response matters, right? But again, I think if you come back and you think about it in the context of like the Hippocratic Oath, first do no harm. Yeah, that's not useful. It just isn't, right? There's no doctor that was like, fuck. I mean, I had plans, but now there's a rule and I shouldn't murder people. I mean, maybe there's doctors like that, but I don't think that's normal. So I think as a sort of broad overarching principle, I worry very little about the five principles of hop. I mean, really, I think about it almost not at all, because I think you have to get to the how do I do this shit. And if we understand that at the core of this, and I'll agree, error is normal is a pretty shitty way to say things because later we're going to have to back out of it. But if you just say, and that's another whole nuggle thing, right? The wiggly lines up and down of sort of an ordinary day of you're performing well, maybe it's not so great. That's it's a more elegant way of describing it, but maybe a tougher one sentence principle. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Probably not. A lot of width in there, I'll tell you that.
So what do we do? Like, I mean, to the question, like,
Well,
because the question's about how do we implement the hop
Hold on, I'll read it
principles,
again. You want me to read it again?
No.
But
No, it's
I
not.
feel
It isn't, right?
I feel like we are indicting the hop principles.
I feel
No,
like
no.
we know Ron doesn't listen to these podcasts after they're
No, he doesn't even
not.
listen
And
in
I
real
kind of feel
time.
like he doesn't even fucking listen while we're talking either.
Exactly. It's
All
just
right, tell me
faded
what
out
I
a
got
little.
wrong.
Okay. Here's the question. Can you talk about how that's HOP principles, can be used to help us see and respond to risks that never show up in incident data? The very short answer I would give to that is that's not the intent. So how can they be? They can't be.
So you don't know what you mean. I know. Let me tell you what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, how do I use this? Well, it's like saying, how do I use these pliers to, frame up the wall of a house? You don't, pliers are great, but it's not the right thing. And
Yeah.
those hop principles are framing some thinking, but they're not telling you how to go see and respond to risks that never show up in incident data. That's a different thing altogether. There's overlap, I think, in the way of thinking
I
behind
will
it.
say though, I can already hear some hop practitioners
Oh,
disagree.
fuck.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
100%.
they will just and
Look, I would say controversy sells though, Ron, and don't mind the quality, just feel the width. Just to bring up that's Dr.
I,
Dom Cooper, by the way, and
yeah,
and
peer reviewed.
peer
I think
reviewed.
so maybe two ways of thinking about this. I don't know. These might resonate. So I sort of say like if you're driving a car, and you imagine like if you're just looking at your incident data to try to understand your business, it's like go out to your car, put I don't know your mum's fucking bed sheet over the windscreen so you can't see out the front, and drive your car to the shops with only being able to look in the rearview mirror. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what your incident data is. It only tells you what's behind you, what's happened in the past. It tells you nothing about what's out the windscreen in front. So to deal with that, you've got to be face to face and face to work in your organization. So I've done to work with safety teams and saying, look at your average week and tell me percentage wise, how much time, what percentage of time are you face to face with your stakeholders engaging in discussion about what's going on in your business right now and what does it mean for safety? What percentage of your time are you face to work, actually in your business, observing real people doing real shit? And what percentage of your time are you face to screen, which is looking at incident reports and data and the stuff that's, coming through that. And the most health and safety people today are sort of saying they're sort of 80 to 90% face to screen time. I say, well, you've got no idea what's going on in your business. So you've got no real chance of preventing the next event.
But if you wanted to overlay that I just want to take an opportunity here to do this. If you wanted to overlay that on principles of HOP, you would say, I need to get my ass out there and be.
Which principles?
You just kept. It was a lot of face to something, face to You need to be
on the glory hole
face to face. That's that context drives behavior, right? You're out sort of understanding the context of actual work. So again, if it's important to mix and match where these things sort of inform action, fine. Okay. Context drives behavior. Let's go figure out context. And that's that being out and about and doing things. So again, I don't want to sound flippant about it. Well, I mean, ordinarily I don't care, right? But I'm not that worried about the 5 principles. If it helps you to go out and have these things on a flip chart for you, go nuts, man. To your point, Dave,
it'd be a bit of a distraction.
So like, and I think for this conversation, it is so like, because at the end of the day, I think Dave, you hit the point on the head when it was like, no, actually, I fucked it up
right
by starting at the beginning of the question. The second part of the question is how do we? That's really the question they want to get to, right? So what do they do? So forget the hot principles for a second. What do you do?
Less face to screen.
So
what was the other face to? There were 3. I already forgot what Dave was talking about.
Finding
less face to screen
and more.
If I still
what are we doing?
If I wanted to, if I was in a real job, not like any of us really, even Ron, it's not really a real job.
Not yet.
Not yet. Like I still feel like the biggest opportunity to try to be proactive about safety is to understand goal conflicts and trade-offs in your organization. I still feel like they've got fingerprints over every disaster, which is we made this decision because of a contractual bonus, or we had already planned to do this on this day, so we just pressed on ahead, and it was schedule, it was cost, it was customer, it was something. So that way that you talk about, Ron, in your fancy PhD language about the system maladapting. Whenever we're sort of adjusting towards one goal, we're kind of maladapting towards the other goal. So we don't talk about it enough in safety. And I just feel like go and find out where people are under pressure to trade off safety.
But
that's the
but
same.
that is
go find the fucking safety trade-offs in my organization.
If we're gonna give hop purists a win, though, that's context, man. Go find context.
Yeah, but
what do you mean?
For a second.
Really? Of course it is.
I agree.
Not really, just
no, I agree.
No.
but I don't think it matters for this conversation, right? Because at the end of the day, what Dave just said,
Ron's trying to
whether
say,
it's
shut the
coming
fuck up, you two.
Sounds a bit more
whether it's coming
specific,
from a
Todd.
hot
Like,
perspective or not, doesn't fucking matter.
don't
Like,
go around and say, like, you imagine walking up to someone going, well, can you tell me a little bit about your context today? Like,
Well, you don't ask anybody
That's-
about goal conflicts either. You just have a
yeah,
fucking
you're not gonna
conversation.
where are you under
Could you
pressure?
if I
Where are
said
you under
safety
pressure?
trade-offs in most meetings I go into, people would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about,
They're
Ron?"
going to trade you off.
Yeah. Like, so we have to translate this into some meaningful
Have to.
language.
It
And
is
I
not
agree,
useful on its own.
like there's so many people who complain about like the way we talk on like LinkedIn and shit like that about these things. And sure, I agree with them. I think they miss the point that we're not talking to fucking workers on LinkedIn. Um, you know, like um
You're not DMing a
yeah,
bunch of folks
like
on there.
how we talk to each other on fucking social media is not the same as how you talk on a construction site. I don't know how many construction sites you've been on, but I've that Venn
Ron's
diagram
there.
is two fucking circles. Um, but like at the end of the day, like when we go out
I'm
there,
not out wading through the blood of injured workers like you are, Ron.
when we go out there and we actually talk to these people and ask these questions, it's got to be something that is meaningful to them because they're not going to understand safety trade-offs or context is, whatever.
Sure.
Like I don't even use the terms at all in the conversations I
Tell me
have.
what the fuck's going on, man. Where
Exactly,
does
right?
where is it? Yeah. Where is it shitty to try to get the stuff that you're being asked to do done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and you can also start to
You should copy
find
that 5S model.
5S. What's 5S?
5S questions.
Where is it
what,
shitty?
what's shitty? Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
What's
I'm gonna do it. There's one W, the width model.
yeah. Yes.
Oh, we got to come up with something that's an acronym for
Uh,
width.
oh, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. It's about the width.
it is.
And
Workers.
workers
That's the
in
W. Yeah.
dangerous trade-offs
Oh,
hourly.
he's on to something. Dave, we're counting on you for the H or H, as it were.
Yeah.
H.
But I think some of this is also going to involve
Oh.
some translation on our side as well, because like if we go with what you said earlier, Dave, about like,
Don't go. With
when
this.
people adapt, it that is a trade-off, which fundamentally means they're going to be vulnerable to something else. You can just start to say, okay, even if I'm optimizing for safety, there are going to be times when that is a bad choice, right? Given the organizational goals. If the pressures shift, then all of a sudden now we're vulnerable to something else, and that's going to create new adaptations, new trade-offs that have to be made. And that's where you can find the risk. So figure out what people are doing, what are they optimizing for, and what are they trading off against, and when is that other thing going to be important, and what are the consequences if we get it wrong? If the consequences are high, and then you have brittleness.
And I think that's where I'd be, my stepping off point would be more like Rasmussen's dynamic risk modeling, a little
Yeah.
But that'd be, far more useful to think of workload pressures and
Can we get a shirt where it's like just someone doing that, but it's got the little dots
But
in
it's
there?
the dynamic risk. Yes. Brownian movement is like my favorite part of that. Man. I just
with little yeah.
such a big that should be on a mug too.
Yeah.
Some sort of
So,
reference back to Brownian movement.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that because you're exactly right, Brian. What you're talking about is where can it go really wrong? Which is like you said, where if my system's brittle, where does it actually matter, right? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And how well do I understand the decision making and context? Ben, I'll throw you a bone, not a very wide one, but I'll throw you a bone around
A
context.
thin bone.
It's not making me happy. I think it's just
a high quality thin bone.
perfect. If I had a nickel.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think so. I think the answer is that's why I think that trying to apply the hot principles like directly, in all these types of situations, I think is a distraction. I think you got to sort of go back to like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to find problems in my organization before they become incidents, and problems that we haven't had as incidents in the past. So novel type problems that we may experience for us, and like you said, Ron, fundamental surprise. And where if we experience that in an organization, is it a bad fucking day? And how do I now go into those parts of the organizations with those teams and try to explore how brittle that system is, using questions that don't include any of that language.
I love it. Did we just solve it?
Yeah.
David solved on like
that was the summary.
minute.
That was the summary.
That's
minute 3.
That's the summary.
It's 8:30. It's 8:30 in the morning here, boys. It's yeah.
I think
I know we've made Dave get up sort of early for this, so he's a little wound. He had a late night. There's a puppy.
Dave doesn't.
Where's the puppy?
Have you watched the Fat Records full length movies, Backstage Passport movies?
No.
Oh, fucking good. Watch Backstage Passport 2 last night. It's like an hour 45, but it's all about NoFX's like South American tours into Colombia and Peru and Chile and Argentina, and it's just fucking wild. Just fucking wild.
There's some cool though live
punks, man. Like that is a legit punk rocker.
Yes.
Does not have any fucks to give.
No. And he's well behaved now.
Yes.
Which is still not well behaved. It's a sliding scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Any guy who is in a bar in Peru and talking to 6 very elderly widows and inviting them all up to his room at 8 o'clock in the morning when they're having brunch.
Perfect.
Handing out room keys.
It's a regular day.
Oh, God.
Never mind the quality is what Fat Mike says.
It's about the wit.
So good.
I think we've come as near to solving it as we're going to.
Yeah.
Dave got a good summary out of it. We'll just check that.
Nailed it.
Yeah. We should we tried, just for our 7 listeners, we did try to use sort of adult level recording. Dave has software that is like semi-pro, and we fucked it up. So we're using Zoom.
We'll get there eventually.
Episode 50. We'll save it. We'll put in the can for 6 months, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. There's some brittleness in that system for fucking sure.
I'll put some brittleness in your system.
Oh boy.
All right. Later.
All right.
Bye.